Hey guys, Joe here, and welcome back for another episode. Today we're going to be talking about the mass bowler attack and how they are 3-starring Town Hall 11s. Wait a minute, this is definitely mass witches. Wrong replay. I do miss her though. Anyway, so we're going to move right along and start this replay, and that is definitely mass Valkyries. Who remembers that one for a brief moment in time? So anyways, yeah, we're going to move right along into the actual replay that I want to show you today. You see what I did there? So this is where we led to on the bowlers now. I think it's really a shift in the base designs of how we've gotten to this point. But most of the bowler attacks, or the mass bowler attacks, have been most effective in all the replays that I actually have and the content I have is on mostly anti-3-star bases. However, this replay here is actually Shadowfire from A-Team, and he found a replay of this exact clan that we were facing on a episode of Beaker's Lab, and it's the exact same base. So what the other clan did, UAE SWAT, they picked up this base from the enemy clan that they actually 3-starred, because really if you actually look at this base, it's more designed for the anti-Valkyrie, causing the Valkyries to go around the Inferno Towers and go after all those structures that are grouped together per their AI. Makes sense, right? So really what Shadow does here is he watches the replay and he actually gambles a little bit because he had never done this attack before, and he actually ends up 3-starring it. So what I want to do for you today is I want to actually go in and show you what these guys were doing, because why not? Why should all the other Town Hall 11s not be doing this and at least helping their clans acquire high percentage 2-stars, if not 3-stars, and perfect this while we still have it at our disposal. So following this war, I have about 6 to 8 replays almost identical to each other against anti-3-star layouts, all 3-star attacks, and plus or minus some troops, but almost the same exact composition, about 26 to 28 bowlers, and a golem in the clan castle, 3 rage spells or 2 rage spells and a freeze, and then 2 jump spells, as well as the 2 poisons for the clan castle. But their attack strategy was exactly the same for each replay, just they came in on different sides of the base, whether it was taking on one Inferno at a time or taking on both Infernos at a time. That really didn't matter, or coming in on the clan castle side or on the opposite side of the clan castle. That didn't matter either. They were still doing it and executing it for 3-star attacks. However, what they do here is they drop 4 bowlers on one side to start a funnel, and then 2 to 3 healers, and then on the far opposite side they'll drop 4 more bowlers and 2 to 3 healers depending on what they have left, and they'll take a few seconds to start clearing out these structures to create the funnel, and then they'll just drop the golem and the heroes and then wall breakers, and then start the mass group of bowlers. And what they'll do is that once the bowlers are down on the ground and they open up that first compartment, they'll use a jump here, and then they'll just rush the entire core of the base with rage spells. And what ends up happening is they clear out the entire core, leaving nothing but all the point defenses and splash damage on the outsides of the base. But really what they need to do, there's a few keys here that I want to point out that keeps the bowlers or the heroes going in order to turn it into a 3-star attack. So as this thing gets started, the attacker drops 4 bowlers in the north with 3 healers, and then 4 bowlers in the south with 2 healers to start working on that funnel. Almost instantaneously, it drops a jump spell and a clan castle that has giants in it to provide more targets for the Inferno Tower. And then as the bowlers get down, he drops the rage spell to get them in there, and uses the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome ability to prevent against those clan castles and the giant bombs as the bowlers move into the base. And another couple rage spells goes down with the jump spell to get those bowlers in rage to move through the core really fast to take out that town hall and work on that Inferno Tower on the opposite side. However, they do move out of the rage spell and get a little slow here, but they still take out that Inferno Tower pretty quick. Now at this point in the raid, you got point defenses on the outer perimeters, a couple of expos, and your king is at mid health. So I really want to point out what I feel is the key here for making this a 3-star attack. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. And I want to draw your attention in on these healers in the north on this group of bowlers, and the couple of healers in the core on this other group of bowlers, as well as the Archer Queen still being at full health. And as you watch the rest of this replay, at this point you got a pretty high percentage 2-star, but the healers are the ones that are keeping the bowlers going in order to make it a successful 3-star attack, as well as, you know, minions or archers or even goblins for the cleanup crew on the back end of the attack. But as you see there, you still got an Expo and a couple of cannons firing in on those bowlers, and they're still going, because most of us know that a bowler by itself, one single bowler, is not that powerful, and its HP really isn't that high to sustain all that firepower by itself. So at this point, it's basically turned into a bowler walk at the back end of the attack. And you also have the Archer Queen to assist with this, and if you lose the bowlers, then the healers, if they survive, will shift over to that Archer Queen, and it turns into basically a back-end Queen walk. So really, I feel like the success of this attack is keeping alive a decent amount of bowlers and your Archer Queen, as well as the healers. So basically, how do we even stop this? Well, I can definitely tell you by this replay here, how do we stop this is hoping that the attacker actually has a wall breaker fail and doesn't have enough jump spells to get this thing started. So as you see here, the same exact strategy as before, using bowlers to open up the core or open up the funnel on the outsides, mass group of bowlers. But as you've seen there, he just had a wall breaker fail. So at this point, the bowlers cannot get into the core of the base and go to that jump spell that's sitting there waiting on them to draw them in. So now they're sitting on this level 12 wall with a bunch of firepower just tearing them up as they start to split on the outsides to the north and south. And really, the point defenses, the Expos, are just picking them off as they go. And even though you got a decent amount into the core, at this point, it's not enough firepower to stop the onslaught of the enemy clan castle at this point. So really, if you have a wall breaker fail, it's really a good way to shut down this attack immediately. And I mean, there's really no way to determine that other than the attacker doing it himself. However, maybe some spring traps on the outsides of the base might cause that to assist a little bit, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, and so that brings me back to my point about the healers. I have this replay here, it's a little bit different, and as you actually look at it in the beginning at the composition, you would think by his start that he's actually doing a Queen Walk, and he also has a 3rd rage spell. And so as the Queen Walk starts, you see that he's actually going to go in here and try to take out an air defense and the Eagle Artillery, and then he's looking like he's going to start a funnel up top, but really he's just directing his Queen inside of the base. And so he uses 2 bowlers up top to take out a couple of the structures in order to guide the Queen into the core of the base, or into this base, in order to take out this Eagle Artillery. But I want you to take notice of the 25 bowlers that he's actually holding on to, and he's very patient, showing a lot of patience in this raid as he lets that Archer Queen take out that Eagle Artillery. And that's probably key here on this attack, is getting rid of the Eagle Artillery. But what's interesting is what he does with the Archer Queen here in a few seconds as she starts to move closer in on that clan castle. He drops his 2 poison spells, and as the Queen starts to lose health, he uses her Royal Cloak ability to take out those minions and start working on those balloons. But what's really interesting as he moves into the second phases of his attack is he doesn't use a rage spell to attempt to save the Archer Queen. He actually just kind of lets her die, unless he was actually so focused on that second phase, which ends up making the healers transition onto the group of bowlers down there as he uses the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome ability, and then starts using this lane in between the walls to funnel those bowlers directly down the line onto each Inferno Tower as he drops all 3 of his rages to power them through the bulk of the heavy damage per second producing defenses. Uses a jump spell to start moving the bowlers up into the northern portion of the base as the Barbarian King starts to work on that wall in order to take out those outside structures. So that kind of works out pretty well. But without the healers, the bowlers would end up getting either stuck on this wall because their AI is just so unpredictable. You can't really tell which way they're going to go. They're actually just targeting structures that they can do a double bounce on, unless there's just nothing else behind them. And some of them are stuck on the wall in the core, and then some of them actually move to the jump smell and start working up into the northern portion of this base, but there's plenty of point defenses left over in order to take out a couple of these bowlers and possibly shut it down at 2 stars. However, there's really no way to determine that other than the healers being there healing the bowlers as they move through the rest of this base. So that's where I really feel that the healers being left over at the back end of the attack is very important, or really just turns it into the success of a 3-star attack. So a couple of things I want you to take note on this video is actually the funneling and how fast and the timing they use the spell drops and getting rid of the core of the base and ensuring that they had healers at the back end. And that's the best part about friendly challenges, is we can get in there and test this out. Hey guys, Joe here, and if you made it to this part of the video, thank you. The intent of this channel is to actually slow things down for the viewer, and I'm going to provide overlays and graphics in order to show you what I'm talking about. If you find value in my material, please pass it along to others. I only solely do this for the passion of the game and the family aspect, and as always, you take care.